Have you ever sat on a plane and wondered what the cabin crew was doing before you even got there? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain. We're going to follow their journey from their career path to all the super important safety checks that happen long before takeoff. So here's our plan for today. We'll start with their career path, then walk through the airport, sit in on the briefing, prep the cabin, welcome passengers, and finally run through those crucial last checks before the plane even moves. Let's get into it.
First up, let's talk about the job itself. Being a flight attendant isn't just a single role. It's the first step on a really interesting career path that offers a lot of room to grow.
Think of it like a ladder. You start out as a flight attendant, but with time, experience, and a lot of hard work, you can climb your way up step by step all the way to a top management position. Let's break down exactly how that works.
Okay, so everyone starts here as a flight attendant. For the first couple of years, it's all about making sure passengers are safe and comfortable. But before you can even do that, you have to pass this really intense 6 to 8 week training program. It covers everything from first aid to emergency evacuations.
After about 2 to 5 years, if you're performing well, you can get promoted to senior cabin crew. This is where you start taking on more of a leadership role. You'll supervise the newer crew members and might be in charge of a specific area, like the business class cabin. The next rung on that ladder is the purser, or cabin supervisor. With 5 or more years under your belt, you can become the chief flight attendant for the entire flight. You're the boss in the cabin, handling all the operations, the paperwork, and you're the main link between the cabin crew and the captain in the cockpit. And right at the top, after 10 or more years, you have the cabin services manager. This is the most senior role. They oversee the entire cabin operation, handle any really serious issues that come up, and make sure that the service and safety standards are perfect on every single flight. Okay, so that's the career. Now let's switch gears and talk about the airport. To get a plane ready for flight, the crew has to navigate a couple of different zones and work with a bunch of different teams. First, you gotta understand the airport's layout. It's basically split into 2 big areas. There's landside, which is the public part where everyone can be, and then, once you go through security, you enter airside, which is a restricted zone. So, what's the big difference? Well, landside is where you have the check-in desks and the arrivals hall. Anyone can walk in off the street. But airside, that's the secure area. To get in there, you have to have a boarding pass or a special staff ID. It's where the gates and the runways are, and security is super tight. And getting a plane in the air is a real team effort. You've got 3 main groups. The flight crew, that's your captain and first officer, they fly the plane. Then you have the cabin crew, who are in the cabin with passengers focused on safety. And finally, you have the ground crew, the people on the ground handling baggage, fuel, cleaning, and catering. Okay, so our crew has made it through security, and they're now airside. Their first stop is the crew room for what might just be the most important meeting of their entire day, the pre-flight briefing. So what really goes on before they even think about opening those doors for boarding? A whole lot. And it all starts with this one critical meeting that's all about teamwork and getting everyone on the same page. This pre-flight briefing isn't just a good idea, it's actually required by law. The entire team gets together, the captain, the first officer, and every single member of the cabin crew. It's like a team huddle before the big game. The whole point is to make sure everyone has the exact same information. So what do they talk about? Literally everything. They go over the flight path and check the weather for any turbulence. They know exactly how many passengers are on board, and they discuss anyone who might need extra help, like someone in a wheelchair. They also review all the latest security info, emergency procedures, and, this is key, everyone gets assigned their specific job for that flight. All right, the briefing is over. Now the cabin crew heads out and boards the plane, which is completely empty. Their first job is to get that cabin ready, and their number one priority is safety. Before a single passenger steps on board, the crew is hard at work. They go through a strict checklist. They inspect all the emergency equipment, from life jackets to oxygen masks, making sure everything is there and works. They check that the cabin is perfectly clean, they stock the galleys with food and drinks, and they make sure there's a safety card in every single seat pocket, no exceptions. Okay, the cabin is set. All the safety checks are done. Now and only now is it finally time to start welcoming passengers onto the aircraft. Now, when you see the crew greeting you at the door, they're doing a lot more than just saying hello. Of course, they're checking your boarding pass and helping you find your seat, but they're also performing crucial safety duties. They're watching for any security risks, and they're making sure the people in the exit rows are able to help in an emergency. You've probably heard these exact phrases a million times, right? Welcome on board. May I see your boarding pass? It's all about using clear, simple, and polite language. This helps make the boarding process go smoothly and quickly for everyone involved. It's all about efficiency. Okay, let's move on to the final and maybe the most critical stage. All the passengers are on board, the doors are about to close, and the crew needs to secure the cabin for departure. This part is absolutely vital for safety. In those last few minutes, the crew is moving fast. They shut all the overhead bins and lock everything down in the galleys. Then you'll hear them say, "Arm doors." This is a huge deal. It engages the emergency slide so they'll deploy automatically if a door is opened. To double check it's done right, another crew member does a cross-check. After the safety demo, they give the final cabin secure call to the captain. That final walk down the aisle isn't just a casual stroll. It's a visual check to confirm that everyone is ready for a safe takeoff. They're looking to see that every single seatbelt is fastened, tray tables are stowed, and all your big electronics are turned off and put away. So the next time you fly, remember that what you see is just the end result of hours of teamwork, planning, and so many safety checks. Their workday didn't start when you boarded. That was actually one of the last things they did. So think about it. When you see a crew member walking that aisle just before takeoff, what are all the little safety details they're actually looking for?